The first 100 days are off and running. We are off to the races with the new Trump administration, and I'm here for all of it. I love it, and I'm glad you're with us as well. Columbus, Ohio, maybe Kathy should talk about the $50 million of taxpayer money Biden and Harris used to send condoms to Gaza. Maybe she could focus on that as she rants and raves. Well, you know, I saw this story yesterday. This was amazing. I thought 50 million. Karoline Leavitt, in her debut as the White House press secretary in the press briefing room, revealed an expenditure that DOJ and the Trump administration is weeding out. And they are absolutely focused like a laser on cutting out all of the graft and the extra money and the layers and layers. They're offering a big buyout now to the federal workers, saving us billions of dollars. This is going to be a whole new era. You think Trump wanted to upset the apple cart first time around? Oh, you think he was a disruptor in 2017? Hey, Kathy, you ain't seen nothing yet. And so I thought, here was what Karoline Leavitt said. Now let this sink in. We would send $50 million of taxpayer money for condoms in Gaza? Here's what Karoline Leavitt said yesterday.
Why impose this pause with so little notice? Why not give organizations more time to plan for the fact that they are about to lose, in some cases, really crucial federal funding, at least for a period of time?
There was notice. It was the executive order that the president signed. There's also a freeze on hiring, as you know, a regulatory freeze, and there's also a freeze on foreign aid. And this is, again, incredibly important to ensure that this administration is taking into consideration how hard the American people are working, and their tax dollars actually matter to this administration. You know, just during this pause, DOJ and OMB have actually found that there was $37 million that was about to go out the door to the World Health Organization, which is an organization, as you all know, that President Trump, with the swipe of his pen in that executive order, is no longer wants the United States to be a part of. So that wouldn't be in line with the president's agenda. DOJ and OMB also found that there was about to be 50 million taxpayer dollars that went out the door to fund condoms in Gaza. That is a preposterous waste of taxpayer money. So that's what this pause is focused on.
As soon as she said that, of course, I'm watching that. I got the proverbial popcorn out to watch that whole press conference. She was 27 years old, and she was splendid. She, no nonsense, take them all on, know them by name. And incidentally, she said all that without a giant fat binder filled with talking points that pathetic Corinne Jean-Pierre needed in order to be press secretary. None of that for Karoline Leavitt. So I saw a headline over at Mediaite. Mediaite is, of course, a leftist, Trump-hating website that follows the media and politics and everything. And Mediaite's headline was, Andrew Miller dismisses Karoline Leavitt's claim about condoms in Gaza. And I thought, wow, well, maybe it isn't true. Maybe it's not as bad as it seems. And this guy writes, Michael Luciano writes a column at Mediaite saying, one former Biden administration official says the claim is a feverish dream. Karoline Leavitt said that DOJ discovered that tens of millions of dollars had been earmarked for condoms in Gaza. Around the time of Leavitt's remarks, Fox News Digital cited an unnamed White House official who told the outlet that as part of Secretary of State Marco Rubio's freeze on foreign aid, $50 million had been slated to purchase condoms for Gaza, and that had been held up. Conservative media had a field day, shrieks Mediaite. Many right-wing outlets ran with the claim like it was completely false, right? Jesse Waters, Laura Ingraham, News Nation, Leland Vittert, a former Fox News host, indignantly repeated Leavitt's claim. How could you not be indignant over $50 million for Leavitt? But wait, it gets better. Mediaite to the rescue. They cite Andrew Miller, who was a deputy assistant secretary for Israeli-Palestinian affairs. He said this is all a feverish dream. Now, are you ready? Here's his defense. It's possible, he told the Times of Israel, that $50 million was put aside for sexual health or something of that nature, which would include gynecology and many other services, but definitely not condoms alone. They think the explanation is better than the actual accusation. Oh, okay. So it's not just for condoms, it's also for gynecology and sexual health. Okay, Mediaite, you got us. You got us evil, awful, right-wing media types. We're indignant that American taxpayer dollars would be used to support gynecological services and sexual health in Gaza, which apparently includes condoms. But look, it's a feverish dream to say it's only for condoms. It's only partially for condoms. The rest is for gynecology. Don't you feel better now? Gosh, I'm glad we got the mainstream media to sort things out and sort out the chaos from the Trump administration. You can't make this crap up, can you? 17 before the hour, 800-655-Mike. I mentioned My Pillow a minute ago. Boy, do I have a big reminder that comes right from Mike Lindell himself. We'll also go back to your phone calls, I promise. 800-655-Mike. Call or text. Gynecology. Oh, okay. Well, that's better. As long as it's gynecology, I'm all right with that. Send it to the Palestinians and the terrorists and all the people who hate us in Gaza. I'm relieved now, aren't you? Wow. What a time to be alive. 800-655-Mike.
Mike Gallagher.
Of the 3,500 arrests ICE has made so far since President Trump came back into office, can you just tell us the numbers? How many have a criminal record versus those who are just in the country illegally?
All of them, because they illegally broke our nation's laws, and therefore they are criminals as far as this administration goes. I know the last administration didn't see it that way, so it's a big culture shift in our nation to view someone who breaks our immigration laws as a criminal, but that's exactly what they are.
Wow. She was so good yesterday. All of them. Look, we have letting ourselves become brainwashed. Again, I hate to keep picking on poor Kathy, but Kathy in Louisville comes to mind. People who are brainwashed into believing things like illegal immigration isn't really illegal. It's not really a crime. They're undocumented. They're just migrants. They're undocumented migrants. Ah, yeah, that's the ticket. Undocumented migrants. And so now we're back to square one with an administration that is going to go after the worst first. They're rounding up bad guys, criminals, rapists, gang members. Did you see the guy that took over that led the gang that occupied the apartment complex in Aurora, Colorado? They got him yesterday, one by one. They're cleaning him out. And they're doing that without apology. And the left, the open borders Democrats hate this. They despise it. Nice text from Charlotte, North Carolina. Thank you, Mike, for your show. I haven't laughed this much since November of 2016. Pennsylvania, Mike, terrific point on the lack of compassion from people like Caroline Kennedy. They sure showed a lot of compassion to Hunter vis-a-vis his history of addiction. And finally, from Arizona, when Caroline said $50 million in taxpayer money for condoms in Gaza, I thought she meant to say condos. Would that have surprised you?